Hi, you're right. This video is to show you how to produce your CAD drawings for your CO2 dragsters. So you'll need to go to edu.sketchup.com/app and sign up for Sketchup, and we'll just be using the free version to draw your car to start with. And once you're finished, you'll be able to download that file and upload it into the Pro version of SketchUp, which we will give you a license key and serial number for, so that you can then send it across to Layout to produce your 2D drawing, which you need to hand in for your assessment task. So, first things first about this space, you've got these three lines which are super important. They're called axes. In maths, you'd have your x axis, your y axis, and this blue one is introduced. It's the z axis, straight up and down. The person here is just to show you a scale, okay? You know how tall a person is, roughly 1.5 to 2 meters tall. That's how big she is in that space. Okay, because if you zoom in and out, okay, it appears she's getting bigger. She's not. You are just zooming in. Okay, you can zoom out. You can delete her to start with, so you just click on her and click delete on your keyboard. And the first thing we want to do is set up our document. So across here on the right hand toolbar, there's one here with the information I, model info. If you click on that, you need to scroll down from the top straight down to model info, and you want to check your length units are in millimeters. So if it's on something else, click onto 0.0 millimeters. Precision, let's go 0.0, and snap interval, let's make that 1 millimeter. 1.0 millimeters. Angle units, 0.0. Let's make it snap to 5 degrees, and that's done. Okay, and you can you can click that arrow to close that toolpath. The other thing we want to have a look at to start with is our styles. So click here. Yours may not open up like that. It will probably open up like this. And we want to click on this edit tool. And we want to go to, I believe it's face settings. And we're just going to turn X-ray on for now so we can see through our block. Okay, done. There we go, it's a bit slow. And the other button we'll use a little bit will be, nope, not that one, quick look, close, close, close. I think it's this one. I'll know it as soon as I see it. This one, scenes. That's the one we wanted. So let me close all of that. We go straight into scenes. You can close the ones that it opened up with. If you hover over it, the little cross comes up. Scenes. So you can do a quick snap to go to a certain view, and you can. SketchUp usually defaults to be in perspective mode. I think we'll change it to be in parallel projection. Okay. And we can tell it, let's look at it in 3D. Cool. We can start drawing. So over here on the left, you've got some tools. Yours might be slightly different to mine because I've put some extras in here. So as you draw and you want different tools, the three dots here, if you open that up, there's extra tools in here that we'll probably use, like the circle tool. You might use a tape measure, which I've popped into my toolbar, but it'll probably be sitting here for you. And the zoom all is an extra one that I popped in, so that would probably be sitting in here for you as well. Okay. To start with, we're going to draw a rectangle. So we just click once on that tool, and I remember 4 keywords when I use SketchUp, and it is click, move, type, enter. And if you can remember those 4 words, you'll be able to draw pretty much anything you want in SketchUp. So if you just hover on your screen, it tells you what to do, or it tells you where you are, origin. Down here, it says select your first corner. So if you forget what to do, there's usually a hint down here. So my 4 words were click, move, type, enter. So I'm just going to click, and I've let go of the trackpad. I'm just going to move in the dimension I want my rectangle. Now, if you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, it says dimensions, and it says 1,552 millimeters by 582 millimeters. That's how big that rectangle is now. That's massive. That's 1.5 meters by 0.5 meters. Way too big for our car. I clicked I move, my next word was type. So I'm just going to start typing. I don't have to click into that box or anything, I just start typing. So I'm going to type the length of our car, which is 240 millimeters, comma, and the width of our car is 40 millimeters. Enter. That looks super tiny. Well, it is, it's the size of our car, but we're also zoomed out really far. So I can now zoom in. So, excuse me, a 2-finger pinch zooms in, or I can use my zoom extends button if I have it there. And it zooms in to show everything I've got. Okay, so there's our shape of our car. The next tool you can use is called push-pull. So it's directly underneath, and it's the same technique. Click, move, type, enter. So I'm going to click on it, not click and hold. I clicked and I let go. I'm going to move it in the direction I want, and I'm going to type the height of my car, 70 millimeters, and you'll see that's come up in the distance box in the bottom right hand corner. And I'm going to hit enter. Click, move, type, enter. Bang. That is our car. I'm going to hit zoom extends, and there it is. Okay, now I'm going to draw the hole in the back of the car where our CO2 canister needs to go in. So there is an orbit tool here, and if you hover over it, it tells you that's the orbit tool, and it tells you in brackets O is a shortcut for it. So you could just click O on your keyboard. I'm going to spin around, and I want to draw on this back face. Now you have to be very, very careful in SketchUp that you are drawing on the face, that you're not just off in front of it. You need to be very mindful of what the mouse and the alt tags are telling you. So the tape measure tool that I have here, or you might find in the 3 dots here somewhere, is what we're going to use to start with. So tape measure. It says click to create a guide. Now this is where our axes become very important. Green, blue, and red. I basically want to create a guide that is parallel to that green axis, going up from this line. So I'm going to just click once, click. I'm going to move, click move, and it tells me I'm going up in line with the blue axis straight up. That's great. If you go off on a weird angle, there you go, it's gone grey. You are not parallel to anything. You're going off on some weird angle inside the box, outside the box. It's hard to tell. So make sure it turns blue, the same one that's running straight up and down. And I want this guide to be 20 millimeters up from there. Enter. Okay, I'm going to spin my screen and see where that is. Okay, it is directly in line. I want to do the same thing running across this way. So tape measure. I'm going to click on that line, click, move. I want it to be in the dead center, which is 20 millimeters because the whole thing was 40. Click, move, type 20, enter. Now I have an intersecting point that I can start my circle from. So I need a circle tool. Now if you don't have one there, it'll be in your 3 dots. There's a circle tool, and I'm going to click, move, type. Now for type, look in the bottom right hand corner, it wants a radius. So we want a radius there of 9.5 millimeters. Type 9.5, enter. I want to extrude that, which means to make something 3D, but I want it to take away from that block. So push pull, click, move that way, type the depth of 50 millimeters, enter. That's most of our block done. Now, I'm going to come into my little snapboard here and tell it I want to see it from the front view. There it is. Now this is the reason why I made it X-ray, so that you could see where that was. Okay, just going to close that off. And now we're going to draw in the holes for our wheels. So again, tape measure. I want to move this bottom line up and have a guide there 10 millimeters up from the base. This one I've got to move in 60 millimeters, and the one from the front. So click, move, type 30, enter. That one was 60. I've got some intersecting points here and here now that I can use for the holes for my axles to go through. So circle tool, radius 2, enter. Radius 2, enter. Okay, now I'm just going to spin my screen slightly with my orbit tool. and I'm going to push pull those. So I'm going to grab that one and tell it I want to go that way 40 millimeters, enter, and that one. So you can see here the blue dots, it's telling you, hey, you're on the rectangle. Make sure the blue dots are inside the circle. Click, move, type 40, enter. Okay, now I don't need these guidelines anymore, so I can use my rubber tool here, erase or E on the keyboard, and I can delete there. Probably don't click down here because it will delete everything that is under your cursor there, including that circle. So I always make sure I'm well away from my drawing when I delete those things. Okay, one more. I'm ready to draw the side profile of my car. But before we do that, we're going to plan ahead. I'm going to use the pointer tool or the select tool. I'm going to click and hold. And I'm going to select the whole car. I'm going to copy paste. So Command C on a Mac or Control C on a PC. Copy. Command V for paste. Okay, and I've got a second one attached now to my mouse. I'm just going to hover over the origin for a second and then I'm going to slide along and it stays in line. I'm just going to put him way out there. Click. Okay, escape on your keyboard and then you can click your pointer tool. I'm going to come over here into my scenes, tell it to snap back to my side view, sorry, and I'm going to draw my car. Now there's a few tools you can use. You could use the pencil to draw straight lines. Up to you. Okay, I don't want that. You could come into your three dots. You could use circles. You could use a pie. You could freehand it. Okay, I don't like that either. It's not smooth enough for me. I'm picky though. I might use the 2-point arc. Now the important thing is the Alt tag there says I'm on the edge. Click. My blue one says I'm on the tangent to the edge, so I know I'm still on the face. Click. And when I come up here, it still says, hey, you're on the face. If it doesn't say on the face or something like that, don't click. You're probably drawing out in space in front of the car. Okay. Click. And I'm just going to keep on going. So when it turns light blue, it's telling you that's a really smooth transition between those two curves. Click. Click. Now if you zoom in, you can usually get more control. Click. Click. Now if I orbit my drawing, all those lines will be on that face because I was really careful. Now, from my design that I did on the board, I want to take out a little bit more underneath my car to reduce the weight of my car. So I'm going to go back into my 2-point arc and go, okay, well, I'm going to take out from here to here on face. A bit more there. Okay. I'm going to go 3D again. And I'm going to use my push-pull tool to push that off. Now I can just go click if I'm back here hovering on edge. And same here, I can just go click to line up with that edge. That's called inferring, so that's one way to do it. So from the side view, or the front, that car profile is basically done. I might take out a curve here to take out a bit more. I might actually take out a bit more. See, I don't think that one's on the face. Just for the sake of this, I might make this a straight line. I'll check he's on the face, use my orbit tool, yep, and I'll pull those off. Click, click. Okay, back to front view. there's the profile of my car. But from the top view, he's still a really wide rectangle, not overly aerodynamic. This is why I drew my second car here. On this second block, I'm going to draw the car from the top view. So I'm going to go back to my top view. I'm just going to zoom in on this one now. Whoa. Now over in the toolbars, there's a tool here called Pan, which is in your three dots, but I've got mine saved here. And I can click and drag and move my screen without it spinning. Okay, so I'm going to do my top view here. I'm going to keep it super simple for the sake of this video. To the midpoint, snap. From there, this is inferring, so I'm just going to hover on that point and you'll see a dotted line drop down and it's telling you, yep, you're still in line with it, and I'm going to click. I'm now going to do a 2-point arc here to here. I might actually make sure I'm in line with the middle. So I'm going to hover there, a bit longer. No, might have to do it from this end. It's not liking it. I might draw a construction line. I'll delete this later. Go and get my 2-point arc. There we go. So I'm going to hover there and come across. Doesn't really like it. It's alright. I know where I want to start, about here. I'll drop down there and now I'll start my 2-point arc there. There we go. Midpoint, straight out to about here on face, and that's got a bulge of 5mm. It tells me down in the dimensions. And I'm going to go from there to there again and go this way. Escape. Might just zoom in here. And I'm just going to orbit and check I am on the surface. Yep. Two-point arc from there to there. There we go. Bulge of 5. Okay, now I'm going to use my select tool, click on those lines and click delete on my keyboard because I don't want them there. Whoops, make sure it's only deleting what you want. And I don't need that line there anymore. Okay, great. 3D. And I might actually delete these cylinders. We'll see what happens. Okay, and I'm going to spin the block around. Whoops, not that one, this one. Back to the rubber. And I'll get rid of him too. Okay. My pan tool. Okay. So now I'm going to use my push-pull again. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Come down there and click. And that center section, I don't want that either. I'm going to line up that hole with that point there. Now this is the tricky bit. Okay. You need to spin your screen or orbit it so that you can carefully select one and not the other. So I'll show you what you don't want to do. Don't do this. Don't do that and then try and just select that front car because it'll pick up parts from the back car. Okay, so you see it selected that line in the back of the car. That's what you don't want. So you need to spin or orbit your screen so you can select very easily just one car. Then right click on it and you want to make this a group. Done. Do the same with the second one. Select just that car, right click on it and make it a group. Great. Back to 3D, I want to actually see it from the back of the car. So I'm just going to use my orbit tool. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in a little, and I'm going to move my top view over my front view, and I'm going to line up the holes. Okay, so there's a move tool here. If it's not there in your toolbar, it's in the 3 dots. So it says move, and I'm going to grab, you've got to be careful, center in group when I'm on that circle. So I'm going from the center of that circle, and I'm going to zoom in as I do this and make sure I get that perfectly. Okay, center in group. Okay, now tricky part number 2. Select tool. You got 2 cars there. Select everything now. Right click. Intersect faces with model. And then we want to highlight the same thing again and go explode. Watch this. I'm going to now click to my front view, and using my rubber, I'm going to delete everything from above my car profile. Okay, underneath here as well, I'll zoom in. And I'm going to switch to my top view and do the same thing. Okay, everything outside of my top view. Okay, make sure you get every line that you don't want. Okay. Zoom all. There's my car. Whoops, I missed a line there. Okay. Now, you can put an appearance on this if you wish. I think that's materials. So if you want your car to be red, you can click on the surfaces that you want red. Okay. So you can put your appearances, you can orbit your drawing, you can put all that on there. Now, before we go too much further, we are going to turn that X-ray off. There we go, turn him off, and you can see your solid car. I can see that I missed a section down here now. That little black line there. Okay, and I think that surface there, I can delete that, and if I orbit, yeah, I can see now that that's a proper hole. I can delete the one off the bottom too. Okay, orbit around a bit more, and I could put my appearance or your color on there as well. Just orbit again. Just escape to go back to that previous tool, and probably just that surface underneath there. Orbit, do the base of the car. I might do the base of my car blue, just for something different. Okay. Not sure why the X-ray came back on, but we can turn him back off. Done. Here we go. Back to 3D. And there's my car done there. Okay. Now it's time to save this. So the save button is here. Yes, purge. You want to either save it to your drive or download. Just make sure you've saved it somewhere first. Car video. Save here. And then you want to download this. So file, download as a SKP, a SketchUp file. Very important. Make sure you know where you've saved that. So mine defaults to the download folder. And my next video is going to show you how to open this up on SketchUp Pro and convert that to a 2D drawing.